Now we go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Hearing Things with Julie and Brad. We are very excited to be here with you again here during season 2. We are recording up in Maine for the first time this season. It's a beautiful day, getting a little bit hotter. I am recovering from pneumonia, so I apologize if my clarity of speech is not as good as it usually is. We're still dealing with a little bit of that residual illness here. But Brad's going to do most of the talking on this one. We're talking about headphones, noise-canceling headphones, and this was an idea submitted by one of our viewers, so thank you, Alana, for the idea. I'm going to have Brad jump in, and I will learn new things right along with you about headphones.
Yeah, so I think this is a great question because I remember growing up, I didn't have hearing aids, and my mom would yell at me if I would get the earbuds. So like I had a Walkman. Remember Walkman?
Oh, I do.
I had a Walkman, and I had the earbuds, so they go directly in your ears. And my mom hated those because they're closer to your eardrums, so you turn them up louder, you're gonna deafen yourself. And I probably did to some degree. So I'd have the ones that just kind of like sat on your ears. And this is before I had hearing aids, so it was really loud. And the technology really wasn't fantastic back in the 80s and 90s. And so there's two different types of headphones that Alana was asking after. There's noise blocking and noise canceling headphones. And so I'm going to do a lot of reading because I had to do some research for this. And so for the noise blocking, which is also known as passive noise reduction or noise isolation, because everything has 17 names with technology. So this can be a no-tech solution, like sticking your fingers in your ears. And this is actually why when we turn off our hearing aids, if we leave them in, the molding that we have is actually doing noise blocking because it's not the microphones aren't working, but we still have something in our ears blocking the sound. So that's noise blocking technology. So another example is those big headphones that have the cups that have the foam padding that sits over your ear, and it creates a little bit of a seal. And so I hate these because I need my hearing aids to listen to things, and because it's creating a seal, if I put them over my hearing aids, I hear feedback, some really bad feedback.
A lot of screeching, it's awful.
Exactly, so it's really bad. That's okay. So the other type is probably what most people think of, is called noise canceling. Where am I going here? I moved it, and it changed, and I should move it. Noise. So it's noise canceling, and so it was originally invented by Bose in the 2000s. And so I'm going to read from Bose, and I'll put a link in the description for this. This is what Bose says noise canceling technology does. So they're miniature microphones in the ear cups or earbuds that listen to the outsized noise frequencies and emit the exact opposite signal to effectively cancel out both sets of sounds when the sound waves collide.
So that's how they do that.
Mm-hmm. So
it's more than just covering your ears with something.
Yeah.
With some proprietary material. It's actually like a
microphone emitting the sound.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Huh. So more information from Sony is the sudden changes in pitches as someone speaks occur too frequently and makes it difficult for noise-canceling audio devices to analyze and process these differences. Therefore, you'll hear some noise around you if you're in a crowded area, even if you're using the noise-canceling technology. It's pretty cool.
That is very cool. I thought this is so much more involved than I thought.
Me too.
I really thought it was like some special material that you just put over your ears, like earmuffs, and it's just...
I did too. It was fun doing the research.
Crazy. I'll keep going.
Yep. So the noise canceling function primarily works for noises in the low frequency band. Think of a train, an airplane, or just general engine noise. Although the noise is reduced, it's not canceled out at the low frequencies altogether. Which doesn't matter for me because those are the frequencies I don't hear very well.
See, those are the ones I can hear.
Right.
I hear well, not great, but some.
Right. Let's see. Mobile phones may cause interference in noise. Should this occur, locate the... this is from Sony. This is the wording they use. Locate the headset further away from the mobile phone. So instead of move the phone, they had to say locate. But it was interesting. So JBL. So one other thing here is JBL is another brand, and they tout something called adaptive noise cancellation that uses, and this is quote, teeny tiny sensors and advanced algorithms.
Tiny sensors. How cute is that?
Teeny.
That's actually the cutest thing I've ever heard in a product description.
So it uses teeny tiny sensors
amazing.
and advanced algorithms, adaptive noise cancellation, listens to the background 50,000 times a second,
Times per second?
and tweaks the noise canceling strength to match the noise level around you.
Those teeny tiny sensors are working hard.
They are.
Really?
They're small
you
but
go.
mighty. Level. Let's see. Level is one thing. The pitches. Oh, right. So the pitches, the changes, the pitches of it. So they were talking about. Sony was talking about earlier where the pitches, the voices around you, it had problems with. But it's also the pitches, right? So like. If you're a higher voice than you're at a higher pitch, I'm at a lower pitch or whatever. And different sounds, if you remember the speech banana, different sounds have different pitches just naturally to make the sound. There we go. Okay, so JBL also has something called Ambient Aware and Talk Through. That's THRU because why not? That lets you control how much noise you let in. And so, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Of course, it's more involved than that, but every company has their own proprietary solution. But it's basically just microphones in your ears. And I know Apple Earbuds has it as well. And actually, Danielle was using it the other day, and she had the noise canceling, and she got like dizzy because she's fighting like a head cold.
Oh, wow.
And it just changes the pressure in your ears. And so you can use the noise canceling headphones, but it also like shuts a valve off, I think. So back to Alana's question, it really depends on what type of headphones. I would definitely not use the little earbuds because you're going to have to turn it up too loud. That's one of the mistakes that I made because I did not listen to my mom. But the noise canceling headphones they're doing a lot with the technology, but they're not going to be perfect. So you really do have to pay attention to your surroundings. So it's there was a lot to it. I expected to, like you said earlier, I expected to say, okay, this is the physical model that you have, right. And it's just kind of like the seal is really good or something. But it was so much more than that. So
That's cool.
I'll post the links to the sources for my research so you can read more on your own. But it's fascinating. Much more involved than I thought it was.
Much more, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice, thanks. Thanks
You're
for doing
welcome.
that.
Yeah, thanks for the question. It's always good to see where we should be doing research because there's so much that relates to hearing loss. Everything does, really, when it comes down to it.
That's it for sure. Mm-hmm. You want to do your book first?
Sure, I'll do my book. So I'm not going to be able to see because of the background. So I was at a convention recently and I needed something for the plane, and so I downloaded Peter Pan. And it was interesting. So Disney does kind of take liberties with fairy tales and makes it less violent sometimes and tweaks the source material to make it more family friendly. And that was the case with this book. Like Tinkerbell, not a nice person.
No, she's not a nice fairy.
Not a nice fairy at all. Mm-mm. That was interesting to see. The power that Barrie has with words was fascinating. And so he's a great writer, but it's a lot different than the Disney book. There was things that didn't age well. I can't remember. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but were there Indians in Neverland? Okay, so
Tiger Lily.
His depiction of
crew, I can imagine, was pretty
very cringy, very cringy. So I mean, it was written 1910, so it's over 100 years ago. So you're gonna get some things that don't age very well. Right. But I always like doing that, going back to the source material to kind of see the attitudes at the time. Because no matter what book you're talking about, you can't really separate the time the writer was living from the material.
Absolutely.
So it's always fascinating. It's a quick read, but so Peter Pan.
So what made you pick that up, of all things? Like, what was it that was just kind of like, yes, this is what I want to read?
Honestly, it was available. So so I have a huge to-read list. There's like 400 books on my to-read list. So I'll go through, and I didn't want to bring a physical book on the plane because it's easier for my Kindle. I just load it up with a bunch of books. But my taste doesn't match Libby. So what's available in Overdrive for the library catalogs. There's very few books I want to read that have an ebook version. And so I found this one. I'm like, fine, I'll read it. And I was glad I did.
Yeah, when you said you were reading Peter Pan on the plane, I was like, what is he doing? Where did you get that from? Mm-hmm. All right, so my pick
what do you got?
is American Wife by Curtis Sittenfeld. And I picked it because I'm up in Maine for the summer, and I live not too far from the Bush compound. Hi, George and Laura. Waiting for my invitation, by the way, to come and visit. And American Wife is loosely based on George and Laura Bush's story.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's kind of in the vein of Jackie Maria by Gil Paul.
Okay.
It's the same idea. We took those historical figures, wove in a lot of the research and background and like broad strokes of this story, and then filled some things in with, writer's liberties and fiction style writing. It was actually really good. I read it years and years and years ago, and it came up again on a list or something, and I was like, I want to revisit that.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
What was it called
Really
again?
enjoyable. American Wife by
American
Curtis
Wife.
Sittenfeld. She wrote Prep. She's a great author. I highly recommend almost anything by her. It was fantastic.
Excellent, thank you.
So it's kind of fun because I'm reading this again and I'm remembering some of the history of this area and the Bush family, and it's kind of cool. I can drive by and check out the compound, the whole thing. Little fun tip: if you're in Maine, if the Texas flag is flying, that means the family's in residence. If the flag isn't there, they're not there.
Duly warned. You probably hit more traffic if they're there.
Yeah, sometimes depends on the time of day. I really want to put the BC flag up front. The Condo Association won't let me. I've always wanted to fly the BC flag. So if the BC flag is up, Julie's in residence. If
Can
not,
you fly it here, like inside the porch?
You can only see. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my little tip for today. So American Wife by Curtis Sittenfeld. I hope you guys learned something new about headphones, which is the little teeny tiny sensors.
The teeny tiny sensors.
Cool. So we learned about that. Got a couple book recommendations for the summer. I'm going to go rest my voice, and we will see you again. Thanks, everybody. Bye.